Hello yogis. Today's class I will call Pigeon in a Tree. We're going to explore some external rotation at the hips and kind of find that action all the way from the feet up to the hips, and then we'll apply that in pigeon pose, in tree pose, and in a couple of inversions at the end, towards the end of class. This is a level 2-3 Vinyasa flow. So I will make space for handstands in your Vinyasa, but they're not by any means required if you don't like getting on your hands. Towards the end of class, we will also do some work in headstand, but I will give options if you don't want to put weight on the crown of your head. So let's begin by exploring hip rotation. And we often, crank away at the hips and we sometimes get discomfort in the knees, sometimes even in the ankles, especially if trying to get into a half lotus position. So let's explore how that external rotation can come all the way from the feet before we get moving. So bring your right knee in, and I'm sorry I'm not mirroring you. Once we get flowing, I won't be mirroring you, so I'm just gonna not start now. Hug your shin in tightly and hold on to the shin so that you can kind of keep it still. Like you can even feel the shin bone and kind of make sure that that stays still. And then holding that there, just externally rotate the toes to the outside and then toes to the inside. And try to keep the shin bone still here so that you're just moving from the ankle. And explore that option and notice the degree of movement in your ankle without the shin bone moving. Okay, then move your hands to the back of your hamstring and keep the foot flexed and take your left fingers and put them on your shin bone, and just so that you can really see that spot there. And then think about turning your heel in and then your heel out. So rather than using the toes as your target, use your heel. And notice how now the shin bone is actually rotating back and forth. And that action happens from the knee. So the knee is actually a rotating joint. It's not just a hinge joint, as we sometimes like to think of it. Okay. And then extend your leg in front of you and kind of keeping everything else pretty much still, bend your knee just a little bit so that you can kind of see the shin bone there. And then using just the hip, externally rotate the leg. And notice, so only using the hip, don't engage at the knee or the ankle. Just see how close those pinky toes get to the floor. Okay, now starting at the ankle, so bring your knee back to upright. Starting at the ankle, just move the ankle. Then try to just move the shin bone, so think about spinning the heel in. Then externally rotate from the hip. And notice maybe how much closer your pinky toes get to the floor. So we can distribute the rotation through the entire leg, and that can sometimes get us a little bit more range of motion. On your next exhale, bend your knees, touch the floor. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, drape yourself over your thighs and then press your legs straight to forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands, step, float, or fly to the back of your mat. We'll meet in down dog. Inhale, lift your right leg, open your hip, pull your right toes to your left hamstring. Extend your right leg again, inhale. Exhale, right knee to left tricep. Can you extend your leg without putting it down? Hold, hold. And then set the outer edge of the right foot on the floor. Sneak your left toes back if you like, and start to sink your right hip towards the floor, keeping your shoulders square to the short edge of your mat. Left toes tucked under to keep your hips square-ish. And breathe into the space just above your right hip. Now push into your hands, lift your hips a little bit, and sneak your right foot to behind your left hand. Push the left pinky toes into the floor, corkscrew your shin to the floor, pull your right knee to behind your right hand, and then sneak your left knee back as far as you can. Inhale, sink your hips towards your right heel, right shin. And then on your exhale, you're going to forward fold over your right shin. As you do, push your right foot to the left as though you were pushing your foot into your left inner thigh for tree pose. And feel that activation go all the way up to the right hip. And maintain that as you breathe here. And then also layer on the corkscrewing action of the entire right leg. Pinky toe into floor. Shin spirals to floor. Right inner thigh lifts. Right outer hip sinks. Crawl your way back up. And then bring your left knee to behind your right toes. And then tuck your right toes so they're planted on the floor. And then bring your right knee to the floor so that you are in a figure 4 shape with your legs. And then come up to standing on your knees. Now inhale and try to push your hip creases forward. Try to open up across the front of the hips. Your right knee may be more in front of you depending on your flexibility. But try to even your hips out gently, lovingly with your breath. Inhale here. Exhale, start to forward fold. Bring your fingertips to the floor and send your hips back so that you come into kind of this figure 4 Vrksasana shape or Vajrasana shape. Plant your right toes, set your right knee down, and inhale, push your hips forward. Exhale, fingertips down. Send your hips back, forward fold over your right shin. Inhale, plant your right toes, plant your right knees, push your hips forward. This time, lift your right arm overhead. Maybe find your left hamstring with your left hand and start to do a back bend, kind of a half camel. Pushing the hips forward, breathing space. Find the corkscrewing action of the right leg and see if that gives you some more space. So right pinky toe to left knee, right shin spirals to floor, right hip spirals open. Inhale. And then on your next exhale, bring your fingertips to the floor, tuck your left toes, and walk yourself back so that you're standing on your left foot with your right leg in, I've heard this called funky chair, temple dancer, figure 4, but spiral the right leg. Find that spiraling action and then sit into the left hip. Bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart, chest proud for this first phase. And then grab your right toe, big toe with your peace sign fingers and come to upright. Pull your right knee in first. And on your exhale, extend your right leg. Left hand comes to your hip. Breathe. Nice and tall through the crown of your head. And then spin your right toes out, right heel in, and open your right leg out to the right. Use your outer right hip to pull the leg to the side, and maybe use your left hand out to the side for balance. And then bend your right knee and grab your right ankle. Pull your right heel as high up into the left inner thigh as you can. And again, don't plant the toes yet. Pull the toes towards the left hamstring first, spiraling the right shin towards the floor. Find that action all the way up through the leg. Pull the right knee back behind you. Bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Push your right foot into your left thigh and your left thigh into your right foot. Stand tall. Bring your arms out to the sides. Palms face the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, maybe bring the arms overhead. Pistol grip with the fingers and extend your index fingers towards the ceiling. Spiraling through the right leg. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your hands back to prayer in front of your heart. Extend your right leg straight forward. Hold.
Now, option to just step to the front of your mat, or step your right foot halfway, plant your hands, kick up to handstand, and then cross your right leg into figure 4 in handstand. Start to hinge at the hips, push like crazy through the floor, and see if you can land the left foot softly. I'm still working on that. And then come back up, bend your left knee, and come back to your temple dancer. Corkscrew your entire right leg, and lean halfway out over your right shin. Twist to the left. Maybe you just hold on to the right foot, or maybe the right elbow comes into the sole of the right foot. If that's you, bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart and pull your thumbs to your sternum and your sternum to your thumbs. Pull your right knee towards the floor. Try to find that corkscrewing action of the right shin. Breathe. And then come out of the twist and just forward fold over your right shin. And see if you can cradle the right shin with your arms. So bring the sole of the right foot into the crook of the left elbow and maybe bind the hands. If you can either just hold the shin or keep the cradle and try to stand. Try to look forward. Breathe. Try to be proud. And then slowly return the right ankle to the left knee. And maybe bring your hands to the floor. Now, breathing here is a perfectly good option for opening the hip. Keep trying to find the spiraling action and the pulling towards the floor of the right knee and trying to sink your chest more over your shin. If you'd like to try the arm balance, you might need a towel if you're sweaty. It helps with purchase of the right foot on the left tricep. If that's you, you're trying to work the right foot as high up the left tricep as you can and work your chest forward of the shin. Place your hands on the floor, hook your right foot around the tricep, lean forward and come to chaturanga arms. Maybe just float the left foot off the floor. Or push into the left shin and start to extend the left leg. Keep that right foot hooked around the left tricep. Maybe you jump back. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. A friend of mine calls that flying towel pose for exactly that reason. Maybe retrieve your towel with your foot and take a few breaths in down dog.